Oh, my love, you startled me. Yeah, we finished the call about 5 or 10 minutes ago. No, don't come in. Um, well, I'm looking at something. I don't want you to see. Just give me a moment, okay? Okay, you can come in now. Sorry, I was looking at some options for birthday presents for you. I know your birthday isn't for a while, but I suddenly had a couple ideas, and well, I didn't want the surprise to be ruined by you seeing what was on my screen when you came in or anything. But anyway, what are you up to? Oh, well, I'm done with all my meetings for today. There are a few other things I was hoping to get done tonight that I could work on, but it's been a long day, and they aren't super time sensitive, so yeah. If you're hungry and want to start on dinner, I'll just send these last couple of emails and then meet you downstairs in a few minutes, okay? Yeah, it'll be okay. They don't have to be done until the end of day tomorrow. Plus, I'm still waiting for Amanda to send me the detailed report from last week so that I can do the analysis anyway. I thought she did, but it turns out that she accidentally sent me the one from 2 weeks ago instead. And she's not in the domestic office, so by the time I realized she sent the wrong one, she had already gone home for the night, so she won't be able to get it to me until the morning. Yeah, but I mean, I've done that plenty of times, so I get it, and I don't think I'll be able to get any of the other things done either. So it just makes sense to do them tomorrow, huh? So anyway, I'll just send a couple emails and call it a night, okay? Huh? What do you mean? Why wouldn't I be okay? Oh, um, I mean, I'm fine. As I said, it's just been a long day, so that's probably why I seem a bit more low energy than usual. Um, Not very, but still, go ahead and make all of it. It keeps well, so we can eat whatever leftovers there are tomorrow, and not even have to cook. I know we'd both appreciate that, hmm? You're not going to let me get away with hiding it, are you? Hmm, that's okay. It's not that. I can talk about it, but was I that obvious? My ears are folded over, and I'm doing that thing with my tails, aren't I? Thanks. I needed a hug. Sometimes I envy you humans and other kimono mimi. Oh, nothing. I didn't. Nothing's wrong with it, I guess. Just, I don't know. Sometimes it's a bit annoying that you can always read me better than I can read you. Just because us kitsune have much more obvious cues like that. Though it really does feel nice when you pet me there. You know, there are a lot of different types of kimono mimi. Kitsune, of course, but also plenty of others. And there are certain stereotypes about us that persist and become a sort of expectation. For example, it can be different with strays, but Domestic nekos are often seen as demure and submissive, or that they don't like to play with balls of yarn and eat fish, and it all becomes part of the way we think about these nekos in relation to these stereotypes, whether that's fair or not. Right, exactly, of course. A lot of nekos are like that, and that's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with being demure or liking fish, but it can be frustrating for the ones who aren't like that. You're right, and us kitsune aren't necessarily directly affected by the neko stereotypes, though there are certainly some similarities between us. For us. No, I promise it's fine. I'm just trying to figure out how I want to say it. You know the stories about us kitsune, right? Most of them are based on true stories, actually. But most of the ones that people around here are familiar with are the ones that are a bit more folklore. We're not rare per se, but kitsune have always been a minority here, and so a lot of the stories about us that are known here are either stories brought back here after our culture's first contact, or they are genuinely stories from our folklore. Both sets, which are lacking in broad representation and nuance. Though they've been embellished over time, of course. Kitsune are considered unique amongst kimono mimi for having multiple tails, and many of us do. I mean, I have 3 of them. We're born with one, and any subsequent tails grow in over time, spread out over our long lifespans. And how many we'll end up with? Well, it's partially genetic, but there are a bunch of other factors, so we never really know. It's a bit like height in that way. Like, your parents can both be tall, but you're... I'm sorry, can you just listen and let me get this all out? Otherwise, I'm not sure I'll be able to... Thanks. You can keep petting me, though. Yeah, just like that. Long ago, before we understand those complications, having more tails was seen as a measure of virtue, purity, or power, depending on the situation. But it was always a mark of honor. So having more tails, as many as 9, was a sign of being older, being an adult, being an elder in the tribe, with all of the wisdom and power that entails, which only served to perpetuate the ideas that more tails meant more important. A lot of revisionists have muddied the historical record by changing accounts or paintings and insisting that many of the major figures in our culture's history had 9 tails, 8 if they're being conservative about it. So even though we know now that the number of tails a kitsune has doesn't really matter, and that it's mostly just a marker of age, though again, most, even millennium kitsune only have 4 or 5 tails, but it's so ingrained in our culture that we can't help but think it's true, and it's not just us. Those ideas about us are pervasive. Where do you think phrases like Cloud 9 or Dress to the Nines come from? Yeah, they're calques from our mother tongue. Cloud 9 is referencing both the supposed wisdom of the 9-tailed kitsune and how their tails are soft and fluffy like a cloud. Dress to the Nines is a shortening of Dress to the Nines likeness. It does, except for the fact that there's nothing inherently special about the 9-tailed kitsune in that regard. Oh, right. It is actually relevant. That video conference meeting I just had, it was me, the rest of my team, and our client and his assistant. We had seen the initial services request on paper, but this was our first time talking to him, and this was the time for teasing out the details of what the contract would entail. For context, this client's request is fairly straightforward, the kind of thing we do all the time, but he's convinced that it's this huge special thing that no one could possibly understand, much less a three-tailed kitsune like me. I certainly couldn't hope to compete with this five-tailed guy. It wasn't even that I'm a woman, since he seemed to respect the other women on my team just fine, and it's true that kitsunes tend not to judge on gender. But he, refused to believe that I was the team lead. He would ignore my suggestions until another of my team or his assistant would say the same thing a few minutes later, and at least my team were supportive and would usually say something like, maybe we could do XYZ, like Ari mentioned earlier. I don't know, but it's frustrating and humiliating, and to be honest, it's something I've always been insecure about since I was, well, not quite a little kid, but since I was pretty small. And I can usually shrug it off when it comes up, but today, it was just so consistent and insistent that it had to be deliberate, and I tried to act like it didn't bother me, like I didn't even notice, but it hurt quite a bit, if I'm honest. It was. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I just went on a ramble about how these expectations and stereotypes are nonsense, but the fact that I know that doesn't mean that my subconscious emotions are going to care, and they didn't really. Thanks. You do? You really like my tails? I do take good care of them. Brushing them every night before bed is super relaxing, but it's always so much better when you do it. Mm-hmm. Just like that. More obvious cues, hmm? But, yeah. Thank you. Uh-uh-uh. Thank you, sweetheart. You're always so nice and gentle and warm, and you're always willing to listen when I need to get things off my chest. Even if I tend to be pretty bad about asking you to. I think we both take better care of each other than we do ourselves, hmm? Mm-hmm. And I do love you for it, sweetheart. And other things, of course. Oh, right. Those emails. Can we keep sitting like this for another few minutes? You're just so warm and I'm just so comfortable in your lap like this. I love you.